What is up, football fans? This is Play Action Takes, Apollo Media's NFL podcast brought to you by Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. If you haven't already, hit up our social media at Apollo HOU to see where the next watch party is at. I believe it'll be at Big City Wings at the marquee location off of Katy Freeway for the next Houston Texans viewing of playoff football against the Baltimore Ravens this Saturday. Another Saturday for you boys.
Woo.
But this podcast is also brought to you by Celebrity Mint. Go check out CelebrityMint.com for all their awesome legal tender, graded collectibles of Mike Tyson, Ric Flair, and more at CelebrityMint.com. And you can follow them on social media at The Celebrity Mint. Boys, we watched a full wild card weekend. Some of us are happy on this podcast. Some of us are not. How we doing, boys?
Oh, we're vibing.
I'm feeling really good. Yes, it's been a great last few days.
Yeah, Stoney, I'm sorry, but I'm in a dream. I feel like I'm in a dream come true scenario.
I could be dead. I could be dead right now.
Yeah.
This is my heaven.
It's quite possible that I'm not living. I'm currently not alive because this is beyond my wildest imagination. The Houston Texans are with a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach are in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. It's you know what? It's kind of easy. It's kind of easy.
Yeah, is this all it is it all it takes?
Yeah, this stuff's easy to do.
Good?
Everyone's always talking about how hard it is. Like they're just kind of doing it.
Yeah, like we were like, all right, bet. And then we became good.
We're just good. I don't know. Like, I don't know what other team's problem is.
This is all we had to do. You're telling me for the last 10 years of my fandom for being a Texans fan, all we had to do is this?
Yeah.
Oh, God. All right. Well, I'm glad we're here.
Yeah, me too. It's fun. Sorry, Stone.
And there's no life behind my eyes. There's just nothing left. There's nothing left inside of me. Boys, we'll go ahead and hop into your game. Texans hosted the Browns and absolutely just destroyed them. Like, it was an incredible viewing experience for me, getting to see all the happiness, all of the clips from Big City Wings, the watch party that we had. And Garrett just was ready to bounce off the walls. I think he was ready to punch walls and flip tables and throw hands and just have all of the fun at all of the times. 45-14, it just wasn't even really remotely close after the first quarter. Really, the first quarter, the Browns had a little bit of offense. They were driving down the field, looking okay, but the Texans were punching right back, doing the exact same thing. And it was 14-10 at one point, right? So 14-10?
Yes, the Browns took a 14-10 point lead at one point.
And then all of a sudden it was just over. It was over. Joe Flacco throws the 2 picks, but they both go back for touchdowns, right? Like, it's just an absolute swarm of a defense. The offense looked incredible. CJ Stroud, 16 of 21 for 274 and 3 tutties. Like, not a bad first playoff game.
All those touchdowns were in the first half.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, most
gross.
of those. CJ Stroud was barely on the field in the second half because obviously the 2 pick sixes, and then with 9 minutes left, they just put in Davis Mills because it was 45-14. CJ Stroud, and also I think I've seen people talk about this game and just mention this, and I think it makes sense. The Texans were just the younger, faster, harder hitting, just better team. And I think the Browns were good. The Browns have been on a cool run, and obviously a few weeks ago beat the shit out of the Texans in NRG in Week 15. But obviously for different, a lot of things caused that. No Stroud. But they were just old. Flacco's 48 years old playing. It was just, it was their time. They shouldn't have been there in the first place, and they got taken care of and by a way better team, and that's the end. That's the story of the game.
You saying that they shouldn't have been there in the first place is crazy hate.
Yeah. They shouldn't. I'm sorry, Joe Flacco.
I mean, they're good. They're good.
I get it. I get he's going on his Cinderella story run, but it was bullshit from the get, and he didn't need to be there. They just didn't.
3 quarterbacks starting 4 games each for the Cleveland Browns was a miracle run. Like, that just doesn't happen when a quarterback goes down, especially when you're paying that quarterback $230 million. You expect him to perform and be very good in top 10 with that pay stub. Like, he's getting paid a lot of money. You expect him to perform. He didn't. He got hurt, whatever, but just kudos to the Cleveland Browns for weathering the storm and actually just solidifying the 5th seed easily. Like there was just no competition for the 5th seed after week 16, really.
Yeah.
Credit to the Browns for getting there. Didn't matter. The Texans are the younger, the faster, the harder hitting team. CJ Stroud looked just incredible. And if a play went wrong, he just either scrambled out of the pocket, threw it away, whatever it happened. Then he had the scramble to Nico Collins in the first half, and it was a dot lasered it to him. It was just an incredible display of offense and defense, of a full, well-played game by the Houston Texans, and they just were the much better team. It wasn't even close.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I mean, we let the Browns get in their licks for sure in the first quarter or the first half, but after that, I mean, the in-game adjustments that we made to just completely derail their game plan, offensively and defensively, like, I mean, it was just top notch. It was just top notch performance across the board, playing, coaching, everything. Fans were there, and they apparently it was like the loudest the NRG's ever been.
Yeah.
So I mean, across the board, just dominance. Yeah,
wouldn't doubt it. But credit to you boys. Credit to your team. Congratulations, you get another week of football this season. If you want more of that game, head over to Off the Gridiron on Apollo HOU's YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you never miss an episode. They fully broke it down the other day, so go check out that episode of Off the Gridiron for more in-depth analysis of this game. We'll move on to the Saturday night game that I'd never want to talk about after this podcast is over. I'm going to bury the football in the backyard. We're just never going to talk about it. But the Miami Dolphins traveled to Kansas City, where it was -4 degrees at kickoff, -30 wind chill, and lost 26-7 in embarrassing defeat, to say the least.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say embarrassing. It was
pretty embarrassing.
The circumstances that y'all were put in. I mean, y'all were a warm weather football team, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you can secure home playoff games where you can play in the warmth. It just so happened that y'all didn't get to do that, and y'all had to go and play in one of the coldest games of all time against one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Just wouldn't call it embarrassing, just unfortunate, really.
Stone, I'm not going to beat around the bush, man. That was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. It was bad. You're right.
Damn,
I mean,
Noah's
it sucks.
feeling
Having
himself.
to play in those conditions is bad, but that's also part of the game. And we talked, Stoney, you and I talked a little bit before recording, and it's like, yeah, I mean, if you're playing in Miami, you're used to warmer weather, then you do have to, like Garrett just said, you have to secure those home playoff games. But if you're not able to do that, you still need to be able to go in and at least put up some sort of performance. I mean, do anything. I mean, like we talked about a minute ago, Stone. The one touchdown that Tua had, the 7 points he got was just it was more Tyreek than anything. Tua just threw it up and was just like, hopefully Tyreek gets it, and he did. He came down with it, but it's like that was bad. I mean, that's really bad, and especially watching what the Dolphins did all year, especially early, putting up 70 fucking points. I mean, I know it was the Broncos, but still, this team was electric for most of the year, and then watching that be the way it all ended was tough. And I feel really bad. It sucks. I know.
It seems like you feel really bad, Noah.
No, I do feel bad. I really do.
Terrible.
But I'm being honest. It was a really bad outing.
Yeah, we'll get into this later. But now the Miami Dolphins have the longest playoff win streak. I guess like the longest playoff drought win history. Yeah.
Playoff drought.
So yes. They haven't won a playoff game since 2000. I was 4 years old. My sister was born that year. Not ideal. There's going to be a lot of hard conversations in the offseason. I don't even know what happened really. It's just like everybody got hurt on defense. We were talking about it pre-show, Noah, but they were down 7 starters on defense out of 11.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough to win in those kinds of scenarios, but look at the Browns. They were down a lot of starters. They were down starting quarterback, and they made it to the playoffs. They didn't get a playoff win. No one really I guess some people expected them to, but we didn't on this podcast. We didn't expect them to win, but the Dolphins just are in a tough spot. They're $40 million over the cap heading into the offseason, but congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs, I guess. Patrick Mahomes got lucky and cracked his helmet, and they didn't make them take an equipment timeout, which is literally in the rule book that you're supposed to take a timeout. They just get to play under different rules, so congratulations to them. They beat the shit out of the
Yeah.
Dolphins is really all it was. They were the better, tougher team. They were able to move the ball in the cold, and they played better defense than we did. And it's sad. It's sad to see the season go because this was my favorite season of Miami Dolphins football that I've ever really experienced outside of 2008. 2008, we get lucky because Tom Brady tears his ACL in week 1, like drive 1 against the Kansas City Chiefs. So the division was kind of wide open. They took it. It was the Wildcat year, Ronnie Brown, throwing touchdowns, running touchdowns, receiving touchdowns. It was fun. This season was way more fun. Offense was insane.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
defense was awesome. Just the vibes of the team overall were incredible. But a collapse against the Titans and just unable to beat the Bills at home in week 18 prevent you from having a home playoff game and maybe even multiple if you win the first one. So utter collapse out of the Miami Dolphins. I don't know where you go from here. I'm not even going to talk about Tua. We'll save that for the offseason.
You mentioned that. I do want to talk about that a little bit.
I do want to. I want to talk.
it.
I was
Right.
going to ask
Right.
you. I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
What do you think about Tua?
When the conditions are right and when the offense is clicking, he is incredible. He's a top 5 quarterback when that happens.
No politician answer. No politician answer.
And when
real answer.
For the future,
when things go wrong, he looks like Skylar Thompson did all of last season as the 3rd string, 7th round quarterback out of Kansas State. Looks lost. Yeah. He doesn't really know what's happening. Doesn't know how to react. Can't read defense to save his life.
There's no clutch.
But there is. Like, we watched the Cowboys game. He led them down the field, and they won that game when they were down. And they couldn't score a touchdown to save their lives, but he led the drive down all the way down to the 15 or something like that, and they kick a game.
If he's doing that against the Cowboys in the regular season, that's one thing. He needs to do that against the Kansas City Chiefs.
And then a healthy Chargers game week 1, Justin Herbert, they're healthy. There's no one missing on that team. In LA, travel out there, and you lead 2 drives down multiple scores, and you go take the lead. You threw for 400-something yards, 4 touchdowns. Tyreek went off. Defense stepped up and held it down for the last drive. Like, he's done it. He did it in Arizona, rookie year. Just multiple occasions of him doing it in the regular season in the right weather conditions. And then when the weather conditions go wrong, it's over. We talked about it pre-show. When I go to Miami for 3 days, 4 days, a week, whatever, I come home to wherever I'm going back to, Texas, Alabama. It's cold as shit. No matter what time of year, no matter what day it is, like, it's just cold when you get back because Miami's a beautiful place and the weather is awesome, but your body can't adjust overnight. And that's not an excuse. It's just they don't know how to play in any other weather outside of the warm weather.
Yeah.
Right. So Tua extension.
No.
What do you think about that?
No. We got
he's got one more year.
We got the 5th-year option. It's already been exercised. Yeah. You play that contract out, and then if he blows it out of the water, you give him the $50 million a year, and you win a playoff game, whatever. And if he doesn't, then figure it out. I don't know.
$50 million a year.
Well, a top 12 quarterback.
I'll see.
Daniel Jones is not a top 12 quarterback. He makes 40. So we're in that range. $40 to $50 million a year is the premium for a quarterback post.
I know.
Their rookie deal.
Stoney, if nothing, let's say next year it's something similar, right? Even if they are a little better, even if they win a playoff game in close fashion, but then they lose badly the next round, and there's just a lot of ups and downs in the season, and Tua's never that game changer. What do you want the Dolphins to do?
If they win a playoff game, you give them the extension. I don't give a fuck what happens. You win a playoff game, it'll be 24 years at that point. If you win a playoff game, automatically give them the contract. Right. I don't care. It's been 24 years. We haven't had a quarterback since Dan fucking Marino, who retired in 2000, or 1999. Like, Tua's the best quarterback we've ever had since Dan Marino. Ryan Tannehill, not good. Chad Pennington, sure, he won the division, not that good at that time. He was very old. Like, Cleo Lemon, Dante Culpepper. I mean, do you just Matt Moore?
Who the fuck is Cleo Lemon?
Exactly.
Dude?
Jay Feely. I mean, what do you want me to say here? I'm just saying words at this point that you don't even understand because you've never heard of these people.
Jay Cutler.
Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
It's just the list goes on and on and on.
Fun.
Chad Henne.
He was like smoking cigs and stuff. That was cool.
Chad Henne. Like, I don't know. He's the best quarterback we've had since Dan Marino.
I get that, but there's the best quarterback you've had since Dan Marino, and then there's good NFL quarterbacks.
He is a good NFL quarterback.
Dude, no one gets one good quarterback and thinks he can fucking grill people like
he is a good NFL quarterback. But I'm genuinely interested. No, like, listen.
Answer the question.
No, I'm serious. Like, I get it. Tua is a good NFL quarterback, but if shit doesn't change with the way he's playing, we're through 4 years. I don't think y'all need to give him that much money.
Well, let's look at it this way. Let's break it down.
There's options.
Let's break it down. The Brian Flores years are a wash. We'd throw them in the trash. They don't count. They happened.
Okay.
Wipe your hands clean. It happens. Move on.
Right.
New season with Mike McDaniel. He looks awesome and then gets concussed into like oblivion multiple times.
Yeah.
Can't say you can throw that one away because he got hurt. He hadn't been healthy his entire career. This year was the first year he's played every game ever. He didn't play every game at Alabama in any of those years. Like, this is the first time that we've had a healthy Tua where he played all 17 games. He was never hurt in any way, shape, or form except for one little slide against the Ravens. I think it dinged up his shoulder heading into week 18, but he was fine. It wasn't even on the health report by the end of the week. Like, the first time you get a healthy season, he throws for 4,600 yards, 26 touchdowns. Like, he led the offense in the manner that it needed to be led. The problem is that you didn't win one of the last, 4 games, really, in December. That you just needed to win one. If you win the Titans game, it's over. If you win the Ravens game, it's over. If you win the Bills game, it's over.
The Titans game was kind of the beginning of the end, I think.
That was brutal.
Just because it was Will Levis. I mean, it wasn't you had no business losing, and then I think there was just a morale shift after that a little bit. I think people started looking at the Dolphins.
Tyreek got hurt that game too, and when Tyreek got hurt, it was over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I don't know. I don't dislike Tua, but I'm just looking at his numbers from this playoff game, and it's just like, this is not a dude. I mean,
the play
right
calling
now
was weird. They were throwing bubble screens every play, and none
They
of them.
didn't. He didn't trust.
Literally,
Tua.
only one bubble screen.
They didn't.
Only one bubble screen worked to Jalen Waddle, and then we didn't throw a single other one to Jalen Waddle again the rest of the game. It's just like, if that one was the one that worked, why don't you throw it to him? A bubble screen in Tyreek Hill has not worked the entire season, no matter who we're playing in, what conditions, and what field. Those bubble screens never worked. The Waddle ones almost exclusively always worked. 10-plus yards, 17, 20, 30 yards, like touchdowns on those plays when it worked.
Right.
They had no running game. They hadn't. Their game plan was weird. That's on Mike McDaniel, obviously, not on Tua. But yeah, Tua didn't perform, but there's no other options. That's the point that I'm getting to is, unless you're trading a haul of picks and Tua to the number 1, 2, or 3 pick in the draft to the Bears or Patriots, whoever it may be, you're not getting another quarterback this year. Kirk Cousins, you don't have any money. You're $40 million over the cap. You're not getting Kirk Cousins. You're not trading for really anyone because there's no one really available. You're stuck with Tua for next
Fields.
season. I'm not. No. Just not even.
I'd rather just
not even a realm of possibility in my brain.
Noah's got jokes today.
I don't.
It's not a joke.
He said it off air too. It's ridiculous that you think Justin Fields
Justin
would be
Fields
any better than Tua.
Put a little more dynamic for that Mike McDaniel's offense.
Sure, but he can't read a fucking defense to save his life, so he's never even going to get anyone the ball because all he has to do is scramble outside of the pocket and hope and pray that something happens. He's not the same type of caliber of quarterback that Tua is in the pocket.
Look, Stoney, I love you. I love that you love the Dolphins, and I want the Dolphins to do well, okay? Tua will never win a playoff game.
All right, we're going to talk about the Cowboys.
Yeah, we got to move on. That was great. That was a dagger. That was the dagger right there.
I want it to work out.
This
over
fucking
there.
guy wins one playoff game and he just starts talking mad shit. Been alive.
I've had 2 in the last 4. I mean, I've worked out it. We know what to do over here.
All right, we're gonna move on.
Hey, that's enough.
Dallas,
out of
Texas, Arlington, Texas, the city of parking lots. Dallas Cowboys win their division, get the number 2 seed, and get to host a playoff game where they're like 15-1, 16-1 in their last how many ever games at AT&T Stadium. And they just shit the bed. It looks a little bit closer. It's 48-32. The Green Bay Packers just fucking ran right through anyone and everyone that was involved with the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones probably said a lot of terrible racist things in the locker room afterwards. He was definitely saying them in the suite. The Cowboys.
He was definitely dropping the boy. He was definitely dropping boy.
Yeah, he was calling him boy. Yeah,
hard boy. A lot. Hard boy.
Hard boy. Capital B.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy,
boy.
Dak Prescott. Everyone's on the hot seat there. I would assume that Bill Belichick gets a call. It's very similar parallels to Bill Parcells when he was kind of being forced out of the game a little bit, but Jerry Jones brings him back. They have really good seasons with Tony Romo. They started off 7-0. I don't remember that game in 2007, I believe is what it was, against the New England Patriots. It was like a Sunday afternoon. They were both 7-0 going into it. a lot of hype around that
Yeah.
team. I'm assuming Bill Belichick gets a call. I don't know what happens, but yeah,
I
the
bet he gets
Cowboys are
it.
dead.
That would make sense.
Dez is dead.
They're
Just
yeah.
any
Poor Desi,
the
yeah.
boogeyman is very much a well and alive in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
They just keep
Yeah.
beating them.
I
They have
mean,
5 wins at AT&T in their last 5 games, 2 of them being playoff games.
That's terrible.
yeah, it's wild that the Packers also found another really good quarterback.
Same thing
I mean,
over and over
how
and
lucky? I mean, you got a fucking better chance of winning the lottery than you do than
Well,
what they have done. I mean,
yeah.
it's wild. It's wild because Jordan Love is really
Turns
fucking
out.
good.
Jordan Love is really good.
Really good.
But this is the formula, and I think we talked about this earlier this
We
season.
did.
Like we were saying, if Jordan Love ends up being the guy for Green Bay, then this is the new way that teams are going to. It's like gardening quarterbacks. It's like you grow a quarterback in a garden, and the water is the guy you had before, and you let him you let that veteran all pro, all star quarterback just water your little new quarterback like Aaron did for Jordan Love for 4 years, and then Jordan Love's going to grow into another Aaron Rodgers.
See,
And it's kind of how it is.
the formula works if you're able to have the formula. Like Aaron Rodgers, he's a 20s, somewhere in the 20s in the first round. Jordan Love,
Mhm.
late 20s in the first round, which means they made the playoffs the year before with their quarterback, who had life still and played many years after. Like, they're just in a position where they can just keep winning and then develop the quarterback on that side.
Well,
Like,
absolutely right. You're right. There,
when you're
you do
drafting
have
a
to
quarterback
have
in the first round, you're typically wanting that quarterback to perform immediately. Within the first 4 weeks of the season, you're putting them in there. Like, and Justin Fields, I think he missed 1 game. I mean, Patrick Mahomes was one that missed the entire season. He played week 17 or whatever with Alex Smith, and they made the playoffs that year. But like, yeah, there's not any other team in the league that's done this before, but I don't think there's really been a team in position to do this outside of maybe the New England Patriots, and Tom Brady just kept outlasting all of them.
Well, true.
Yeah.
But there are teams right now that can look at this formula. There are teams right now that have a top 5, a top 10 quarterback who might have 6 years left in the tank, 4 years left in the tank, who should be thinking, because look, Jordan Love wasn't a guy in that draft that was like he was barely even a first round talent. I mean, he wasn't going to be taken top 10, top 15. I think the Packers grabbed him at like 21, maybe it was like 17 around
I think it was
there.
like 26 because they traded. You know who had that pick originally?
Who's that?
The Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins traded out of that pick and went down like 3 or 4 spots in the draft. I think it was the Texans pick that year, actually.
Would you rather have Jordan Love or Tua?
I don't fucking know, dude. Like, Jordan Love was going to do
Okay.
the first 3 years of Tua and Jordan Love are uncomparable because Jordan Love did not play for 3 years. Like, we don't even know what they look like at the same. It's just not a comparable situation. And sure, we can switch them and see what happens in Madden, but like, we can't do that in real life. I don't fucking know, dude. Like, we traded down and took Noah Igbenogany, who's like a healthy scratch for the Dallas Cowboys all season because he couldn't even get on special teams. Fucking trash, dude. I hate football, dude.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
But listen,
Cowboys
this is
and
what I'm
Packers.
saying. Like, but
Packers
here's a
Cowboys
team
no.
right now. Here's a team at this moment that can start this formula, that can try it on their own, and they're in the same division, and that's the Vikings.
Well, you got to keep
You
Kirk
draft
Cousins
a quarterback you re-sign Kirk to a 3-year deal. Okay, you draft a quarterback in the first round. They have Justin Jefferson. They do need some help on defense a lot, but you can get those guys in the second and third. Go grab a solid quarterback. Go grab a guy who it's not going to be Caleb. It's not going to be Drake May. Bo Nix, maybe someone like that. Let him learn under Bo Nix is kind of garbage, but Jordan Love was not getting talked about. Jordan Love is a guy who then you go draft him, go draft the quarterback in the first round, let him grow under, and then that's it. Let him. And Kirk's a great guy to learn from. Kirk's a guy who's seen a lot in the league. He's still a really good player. And then all that knowledge, let it trickle down 3-4 years. We'll see. And if that works, it's confirmed.
Sure. Yeah, but the Cowboys are dead. Cowboys.
Yeah,
I don't know what you do if you're the Cowboys.
They need to change
like
a lot.
Dan Quinn. We said it. I think Dez sent it in the NFL Apollo group chat that we have on Twitter. It was a still image that was shown like middle of the game, maybe after halftime, that the Cowboys are not loading the box at all, and they're a small team. They're just not loading the box. They got like 3 down men, and they got like 2 linebackers, and the Packers just ran right through them. And Dan Quinn just not adjusting to their game plan and fixing the problem. And then obviously Mike McCarthy's offense was fine. Dak threw for 400 yards, but that was because they were behind the whole game, so they had to come back.
He threw the ball 60 times.
That's so crazy, dude. And you have Tony Pollard, who everyone was like, finally, Tony Pollard gets all the number 1 touches. He gets to run the ball more, and he's just been terrible this year. Like, just not good. I took him in the first round in a few fantasy drafts. Terrible. Awful. Just terrible. Yeah, the Cowboys are in no man's land, really. They're just in hell. They don't know what to do.
Yeah. And then Bill Belichick's not going to fix. I mean, they're not going to hire Bill Belichick because I think Bill's not smart enough
He's
to
going
not.
to Atlanta.
I mean, he might, I don't know where he's going to go, but having Jerry Jones as your GM is not going to fly for Bill Belichick. He's not going to want that. He can be like, you're a fucking idiot. I'm not going to listen to you about.
But
anything.
He did it with Bill Parcells. So, Parcells ran that team. He chose the personnel. He coached the team. He did it for Bill Parcells.
Well, maybe Jerry does the same thing with this situation, but I don't even. That's not going to fix anything. It's a culture problem. It's a vibe problem.
Yeah, this has always been Mike McCarthy's thing. Like, he had Aaron for all those years. It's like, okay, go win 12 games in the regular season, but it doesn't matter come playoff time. And that's exactly what he's doing here. And yeah, I mean, I think nobody really liked the McCarthy hire when it happened, but like, it's hard to fire a guy when he's winning 12 games a year. But now, I mean, that's time. The leash has been up, but now it's just. But I'm not shocked by this.
No,
if I'm a Cowboys fan, this is a blessing in disguise because you can go get a guy like Bill. I don't know if Belichick's the best fit for this job. I don't know. I think it's a big possibility. I think that would be a big hire. I think Cowboys fans would be really happy about that.
Yes.
But I personally, if I was a Cowboys fan, I'd want a younger, youthful coach. Because Dan Quinn's the same way. He's one of these old heads who's been coaching for 30 years who's stubborn. He doesn't want to make adjustments. His defense is the way. It's his way or the highway, and we saw that he doesn't know how to adjust mid-game.
And we saw
that's just how you have to do it.
The Dan Quinn Falcons, like, up 3-28. 28-3 in a Super Bowl, and you lose the game because of his defense. Because he didn't adjust. He just did the same thing. The Patriots adjust. They win the Super Bowl. They come back and win in overtime. The only overtime Super Bowl. The Cowboys are dead. They're just like, I don't know what's a bigger collapse, the Dolphins, the Cowboys at this point. Like, the Cowboys had a home playoff game where they don't lose ever.
Mm-hmm.
I think the bigger collapse we're going to be talking about here in a few minutes.
That's probably fair, but a lot of collapses from really good teams. We'll move on. We'll get off of the Cowboys. Congratulations to the Green Bay Packers. You don't deserve it at all. You've been good forever, since the beginning of the NFL. I fucking hate Green Bay Packer fans. My buddy Jackson, I'm looking at you. I'm very jealous of how much success you've had in your entire life, where you've really only won 1 Super Bowl, but like, it's fine. You're always good. At least you have that. The night game on Sunday was absolutely tremendous. Matt Stafford versus Jared Goff, the Rams versus the Lions. The Lions came out on top 24-23. Jared Goff gets the monkeys off his back, proves that he's the guy in Detroit. Dan Campbell, my coach of the year candidate preseason, probably won't win it because of Stefanski in Cleveland, but what he's done to change that culture and to just say, I want to bite some kneecaps and win some playoff games, boys. Bite some kneecaps, win the playoff games. You already did it. You snapped the longest playoff drought win in NFL this year. Was it almost 30 years? It was 30 years, right? It was a long-ass time.
Yeah, like
1992.
Yeah, like 32. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was -4.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, yeah, I wasn't even an idea yet. You know, that's wild. Yeah. This game was close. To me, it was a pick 'em. I thought the Rams were going to win.
Yes.
Because these teams match up so well with each other, with coaching and talent and personnel. And the Lions, congratulations to the Detroit Lions. Like, that's fucking cool. I mean, that guy crying in the stands.
Yeah.
When it happened, like, that's when I was like, all right, man, the new Lions are cool, man. Which I've liked the new Lions, but I was like, are they for real?
Yeah.
And they beat a good team. So yeah, they're for real. So good shit.
Yeah, I mean, I knew this game was going to be really close. In our preview, I mentioned that, but I did also say that the Lions were going to win. I think the Lions right now are just straight up the better team. And I think there was more behind it. The Rams, look, obviously they wanted to win. They were fighting extremely hard, of course, because obviously you want to win. But they, in the back of their head, they all know, all right, 2 years ago we won the whole deal. That's still in recent memory, much different for the Lions. Like we just said, 1992, the last playoff win. I mean, that's insane. That's ridiculous. Also, Jared Goff had more to fight for, kind of proving, hey, y'all got rid of me, which obviously worked out great for y'all, but it's my turn to have some fun. And he had it. I mean, in good game, 22 for 27, 277 and a touchdown.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fucking great day. And so I think, I figured the Lions would win. They did, Dan Campbell. But Stoney, I do want to mention, you just mentioned something, and me and Garrett both kind of looked at each other.
No, we don't need to talk about that. We've gone long enough. We're not going to talk about Kevin Stefanski winning Coach of the Year. It's fucking. It's he said it. It's his opinion. We're moving on.
You did say
we know
Stefanski's going to win over.
I'm just repeating what the media is pushing out, which is typically what happens because they all have the votes. If I had the vote, I'm giving it to Dan Campbell and D'Amico Ryans. I'm doing Coach of the Year there because why not? Why not?
I don't. All right, whatever. We won't talk about it. Shout out to the Lions. Y'all deserve it. Big ups.
And the Rams will be back.
Dan Campbell,
they will.
Miami Dolphins legend, interim coach, 2015. Love you forever and ever.
He's phenomenal. I love him.
Miss you.
Cool guy.
Moving over to Monday, the Buffalo Bills got lucky because the governor decided to push the game because they said it was unsafe. From a known source, family friend who lives in Buffalo or closer to Orchard Park, where the game is actually played, he said that the governor's stupid and that the game should still be played. It doesn't matter. You can still get outside. You can still drive. You could have gotten there. It was fine. Known source from Buffalo.
What is going on with that?
And they didn't even have assigned seats for the game. They just said, fuck it, don't even clear out the seats anymore. So what did they even shovel? Because they weren't on the field. They're not allowed on the field. The grounds crew had to do the field. So, what are we even doing? Moving the game? Whatever. It's fine. It's done. It's over. The Buffalo Bills just murdered the Steelers. Mike Tomlin walks out of the press room after when he was asked if he had he has another year in his contract or whatever. Like, what's the next plan? And he just kind of and then walked out. So
yeah, people are saying like, oh, that means he's gone. But I'm like, he doesn't want to fucking talk about his contract after a loss in the playoffs. He's like, it's not about me. The fuck? And like he did the smart thing, but people were like, he's going to be gone, huh? I was like, he's not going to be gone. He is the Steelers. He is the Steelers. So, I mean, but this
Josh Allen was fucking incredible. Josh Allen looked amazing. That 50-something yard run was just so sick. I wish my quarterback could just do things. The Buffalo Bills just killed them. There wasn't really a competition. They went up 21-0 pretty fast. Like it was just kind of over.
Yeah, the Steelers just kept fumbling. They looked like they just weren't ready. I mean, they're fine. They're a fine regular season team, but when it really mattered, it was just Mason Rudolph. Come on,
I don't really have anything to say about this game. Josh Allen was amazing. The Bills were really good. The 9/11 jokes are writing themselves.
The Bills are a force. They're a force to be reckoned with right now.
Yeah, and the Steelers have a huge quarterback problem they need to be solving. So
you don't like
the three
Kenny Two Gloves?
I don't like any of them. I think they're all the Kenny Pickett thing a few weeks ago when he fucking refused to be a backup, so they made him inactive.
They'll find a quarterback.
That's just pussy
they'll
shit.
Find another guy to go 10-7 next year and make the playoffs and get killed again. It'll be fine. It's going to happen again. But the Bills look amazing, and we're going to get another Buffalo-Kansas City matchup next week, which we'll preview on Thursday.
Can't wait for that. It's the new class.
This time in Buffalo. This
will be Patrick Mahomes' first away playoff game, and it's against the Buffalo Bills. Can't wait. It's going to be absolute cinema.
Oh my God.
That's real?
Absolute cinema.
Yeah.
He's never played a game away from Kansas City except for the Super Bowl. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh.
Wild.
But yeah, that game's going to be awesome, but the Bills were sick. They just killed them. That's all it really was. Let's get into the last game. Monday night football. Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosted the Philadelphia Eagles. Bloodbath. It was a bloodbath.
Yes.
We're going to talk about the biggest collapse in the NFL this season, and it was not the Miami Dolphins. Thank God for the Eagles and the Cowboys. Eagles 9, Buccaneers 32, and it never really seemed close. Again,
nope.
Like even when it was close, it never seemed close.
No, it just, I mean, You can't really pinpoint what happened to Philly this past year. I mean, wild way to end the season, 1-6 to finish it out, get blown out in the playoffs. Can't really pinpoint what happens because I feel like so much shit just happened. It was just
Yeah.
a full unraveling, full collapse. It was crazy.
Yeah, it's just weird.
It was. I mean, I called this. I said the Bucks were going to win. I knew there was just no shot. I don't care who it was against. The way that they've fallen apart in the last 5-6 weeks of the regular season, there's just no way that we're going to turn it around. I don't care if it's against the Bucks. I don't care if it was who it was they were playing. They weren't going to be able to do it, and it showed. I mean, 9 points of offense against the Buccaneers is despicable. And we argued about this last week. Sirianni's out of there, dude.
Oh yeah,
Has to be. You can't put up 9 points in a playoff game with that team starting 10-1. I don't care. I don't. I know people want him to have another year. It's just not going to happen. Especially because
I don't like the guy. I don't like the guy, but I think if you're an Eagles fan, you probably want to keep him around for one more year and don't make any rash, just like bad. Like if you make a bad hire after this, it's like, well, we just had a guy that took us to the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't. I know we know our friend Nathan, who's an Eagles fan, wants Sirianni to have another year. Personally, if I was an Eagles fan, I would not. I would never trust him again after this type of fall off. I wouldn't. I wouldn't trust him to have another successful year. I just wouldn't, because there's something going on, and it's nothing blatant. It's not like there was a big injury or a big thing that changed the course of the season. Jalen Hurts is fine. AJ Brown's fine. Devontae Smith's fine. Jason Kelsey's fine. Like all these guys, like their offensive line is falling off a little bit because they're all 80 years old. But it's like there was no glaring reason why. So it obviously. So then you have to look at coaching. I think it's plain and simple.
I'd argue.
And I think Sirianni, it starts with him, and there just needs to be some sort of culture shift or something.
I'd
I
argue.
think Sirianni's got to go, man.
I'd argue that there was a very easily pinpointed point why the Eagles collapsed this year.
What is it?
Shane Steichen.
Well, yes, but
you lose
but
him,
that was
and you
before
just
the
weren't
season
able to.
started.
Correct, but you weren't able to replicate the season that you had the year before, where Jalen Hurts never played a fourth quarter. It seemed like they just won every game, and he was done by the end of the third quarter, and it was over. And he had MVP like stats.
Yeah.
And Steichen leaves, and all of a sudden the offense doesn't look as crispy or as good. And
yeah, but they still went 10-1.
Oh, yes, but I remember.
So that's what I'm.
You
that's
remember
what I'm
our
saying.
Week 4 recap episode? Just dial that one right back. I asked the question: are the Philadelphia Eagles the worst 4-0 team in history? Both.
Yeah.
I believe both of you scoffed at me, and I was like, I don't know.
I did.
They just don't look very good. They went 10-1 to start the season, not looking very good. The one loss to the New York Jets and Zach Wilson, inexcusable if you ask me. Not pointing at y'all because y'all want a playoff game. So that game doesn't even count anymore for y'all, but it still counts for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Eagles go 10-1. They don't look very good, and all of a sudden they just collapse. They had clear rights to the number 1 seed. I had the full-on advantage on the 49ers, who had multiple losses at the time, and the Cowboys as well. They lose the division. They lose on the road in Tampa to a team that was 9-8. They were 9-8 this season. So they weren't a very good team. They were just a fine team. They won a very bad division to host a playoff game, but they lose that in a terrible fashion. I mean, Tampa scored every quarter. Philadelphia only scored in the second quarter. Scored 9 points with a 2-point field conversion there. Like, they just looked awful, and Baker looked amazing. So credit to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for coming prepared and not backing down to the big old Philadelphia Eagles, bad Bears, just saying, hey, we got home field advantage. We're the better team. Let's go kick their ass. And that's what they did. Now they get to play another week. Eagles are dead. They're done.
Yeah, dude. Dude, Baker looked fucking good.
He did.
He looked great.
337 yards and 3 touchdowns.
He was, spreading the ball around well. I had a bet on, or not a bet. I had a thing for Mike Evans to have more than 5 receptions because I thought he was just going to dominate. He didn't. He just threw it to Kate Otten and Trey Palmer
David Moore
all game long. I didn't even know who Trey Palmer and David Moore. Wild. So the Buccaneers are humming. The vibes are vibing. Seems like,
yeah.
And it's fun. It's gonna be fun to be able to watch them another week.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Eagles.
absolutely. Shout out Baker. Yeah, I want to give, as much as the Eagles are falling off, I want to give the Buccaneers their flowers. They're kind of been getting, I mean, counted out's not the way to put it, because we all figured that they'd probably win that division. But it was still kind of neck and neck. We were kind of being like, it's them or the Falcons.
And the Saints
But
were
the
in
Buccaneers
there.
are out here, winning, destroying the former NFC champ, Eagles in crazy fashion. So shout out them. Shout out Baker. Baker, you got a bag on the way.
He just got paid.
Yeah,
he just got
he
paid
got a bag on the
for
way.
sure.
He just fits in Tampa. Just looks right.
He does. It works.
Feels right.
It's a good spot for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just watching Colin Cowherd. I don't agree with Colin Cowherd on a whole lot. I think we can all say the same thing.
Yeah.
But he was saying something I agreed with, that Tampa doesn't really need, like, they just got a bowl with Brady, and they're just now like throwing stuff against the wall to see what sticks, and they're like, so what's going on with Baker? And Baker doesn't have as much pressure as he did in like Cleveland, where it's like, you're the savior of this franchise. You need, like, they just had the savior of their franchise. This is just like their victory run, So, like, I think both those reasonings put together, it's a good vibe, great vibe, and they're going to be winning divisions for the next few years, I think.
Yeah.
So good for them.
Yeah. And shout out to Jason Kelce. It looks like he retired from the NFL. Fun player, fun off the field content that we got out of him over the last couple of years. He's been a blast to watch, and an all-time center, 6 All-Pro selections. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. So shout out to Jason Kelce. Sorry you went out sad, but I'm not sad about the Eagles going out sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they went to the Super Bowl. I have no sympathy. Yeah. I've seen him win a Super Bowl.
He won a Super Bowl. I have no sympathy. So he's got that on the resume.
Yeah,
he's good.
I have no sympathy.
He's fine. Won a ring, lost a ring. It's fine.
He's okay.
He's fine. Made millions of dollars. Going to go in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he's doing okay.
He's like the number 1 sports podcast in the world. He's going to be fine.
He's hanging out.
Boys, that was wild card weekend. A lot of ups, a lot of downs.
Wow.
Y'all live to fight another day. We'll see y'all on Saturday at the Big City Wings, marquee location off of Katy Freeway. If you're in the Houston area, go watch the Houston Texans play the Baltimore Ravens at Big City Wings, marquee location off of Katy Freeway this Saturday with Apollo Media. This podcast is also brought to you by Celebrity Mint. Go check out celebritymint.com to see their awesome legal tender, graded collectibles of Mike Tyson, Ric Flair, and more. Boys, this has been Play Action Takes, Apollo Media's NFL podcast. We're going to watch some more football next week.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait. I can't wait. I was driving a fucking excitement car. Hype car. All right. Watch football. Watch NFL.
Later.